In this video, we're going to be taking a look at and listen to some albums that came out in Japan in mono in 1962 and 1963. And the reason for that is because, to me, they don't sound very much like mono at all. And I want to compare them with the American mono equivalents. The albums I'm talking about are, for LP fans only, that's an American copy, LPM, so mono, that's a 60s copy. That one didn't come out in Japan at all until 62. It was never released in the 50s. There's your stereo copy. It just happens to be a test pressing. And then I've got the mono release, which again is a test pressing. Now the mono pressings in Japan in the 60s came with an RA prefix, and the stereo ones came with an SHP prefix. And we're also going to be taking a look at the first album. There's an American version. Again, it's an LPM, and again, it's a 60s pressing. And we're going to be comparing that with the Japanese stereo version and the RA version. So this one came out in November 62, and the LP fans only came out in June 63. So let's have a listen first of all to one track for LP fans only. Let's have a listen to My Baby Left Me from the American album.
Just my baby left me, never said a word. Was it something I done, something that she heard?
Now, as I say, that is the mono album, but it doesn't really sound mono. Well, if it is in mono, it's got a lot of echo on it. Now, let's have a listen to the Japanese mono version, the RA pressing.
Just my baby left me, never said a word. Was it something I done, something that she heard?
So that sounds pretty much the same, doesn't it? Okay, well, what about the Japanese stereo version? Let's have a listen to that.
Just my baby left me, never said a word. Was it something I done, something that she heard?
So that stereo version there sounded very similar to the two mono versions. So what's going on there? Well, let's have a look, or let's have a listen to the first album. Listen to a couple of songs from the first album. The first one we'll listen to is Tutti Frutti in mono.
Wop bop blah bam boom tutti frutti, oh Rudy, tutti frutti, oh Rudy, tutti frutti, oh Rudy.
All right, well that's clearly mono, isn't it? There's no echo going on there. It's definitely not electronically reprocessed stereo. Let's have a listen then to the RA Japanese version, in other words, the mono album.
Wop blah bam boom tutti frutti, oh Rudy, tutti frutti, oh Rudy, tutti frutti, oh Rudy.
Well, that's got a load of echo on it. So what's going on? Let's compare that then to the third one, the Japanese stereo version.
Wop blah bam boom tutti frutti, oh Rudy, tutti frutti, oh Rudy, tutti frutti, oh Rudy.
That sounds pretty similar to the mono version. Getting a bit strange, isn't it? Well, what about another song? Let's listen to another song from all three albums. How about I'm Counting on You?
Are the words that I'll ever know still?
Right, well that sounds like it's got some sort of echo on it anyway, the mono version, but it's still clearly mono, isn't it? Let's have a listen to the RA version, the mono Japanese album.
Are the words that I'll ever know still?
Something going on with that Japanese mono album, isn't it? It sounds very, very echoey, very stereo-y. All right, let's have a listen to the electronically reprocessed stereo Japanese version.
Are the words that I'll ever know still?
Well, it should be obvious what I'm getting at now. The Japanese stereo version of this album and the Japanese mono version of this album sound very similar. So what's going on there? Did they just simply make a mistake and press the mono albums using the electronically reprocessed stereo stampers? Well, I had to listen to the For LP Fans Only albums, and there is some difference between the electronically reprocessed stereo versions and the mono versions, which we heard before. So as we said, all of the tracks on this album here, the US one, they have echo on them. So it does have a sort of a slightly electronically reprocessed stereo feel to it. However, there's one thing that you can do with electronically reprocessed stereo albums to well, to differentiate these two pressings. If you take an electronically reprocessed stereo album and turn the balance all the way over to the left, it sounds like mono recording. But if you change your balance, if you turn your balance all the way over to the right, you'll hear that the right channel has echo in it. And then there's a very, very slight delay between the two signals. That's where I think the characteristic echo comes from with electronically stereo reprocessed albums. So one channel's got no echo on it and one does, and there's a very slight delay between the two signals. However, with the mono album here, which has got a lot of echo, which sounds like electronically reprocessed stereo, if you turn the balance control either to the left or to the right, it still sounds echoey. So I think what's happened here is they've just added echo to all the songs on For LP Fans Only. Whereas this is, of course, in electronically reprocessed stereo. Now, if we go back to the Japanese mono album, the Japanese stereo album, if you turn the balance control to the left, you get a dry signal, like a mono signal. And if you turn it to the right, you get an echo-drenched signal. And again, there's that slight delay between the two signals. However, if you do the same thing with this album, it's different. You get the echo on both channels, but there's no delay between the two signals. So in other words, this album sounds to me like it's mono with echo, with added echo. Whereas, of course, the original album, we've heard that one, we've heard a couple of songs from this one, that's clearly mono, isn't it? So the mystery was this album here. And I think what they've done in Japan, and maybe only in Japan, is they've released this mono album with a load of echo on it. So my question to everyone out there is, are there any other countries with a mono pressing of the Elvis Presley album, the first album, with that echo on it, an echoey mono version? That's the only way I can put it. It's not electronically reprocessed stereo, although as we heard by comparing the two sounds, the two samples, it does sound very similar to the electronically reprocessed stereo version. But like I said, once you start messing about with the balance control, you can tell that they are different. Also, if you look at the signals, which the sound waves which I put on screen earlier, you can also see some difference there. So yeah, this could be, this Japanese mono version from '62, this could be a unique mix of the album. Whether or not it sounds any good, that's all in the ear of the beholder, I suppose. I just want to step in here for a moment, a few weeks later, just to ponder the question, how could this have come about? Well, I think it's got something to do with the fact that the Elvis Presley album and the For LP Fans Only album, they were not released in Japan in the 1950s, whereas all the other American 50s albums were. The Elvis Presley album, the first album, was released as a 10-inch LP, this one here, in Japan. But the songs are different anyway. Then in the early 60s, Victor in Japan decided to reissue everything, all the 50s albums, in mono and in the new electronically reprocessed stereo format. They didn't release them at exactly the same time. So they would not have had a tape for LP Fans Only or Elvis Presley. Of course, they had all the songs, but I'm not sure what happened. Did they contact the RCA Victor in the US and get them to send new tapes? The matrix numbers on the albums for LP Fans Only Mono and Elvis Presley Mono, they are the same as the American one. So I don't know, did the people in Japan add the echo to the first album, or did they get the people in America to add the echo to the first album tape? I don't know. But it's definitely got something to do with the fact that those two albums were not released in the 1950s. I'm sure of that. Anyway, what do you think? If you have a good listen to these yourself and you put some headphones on, start messing about with the balance, see if you can hear the differences that I heard. Anyway, any comments in the comments section below, most welcome. But that's it for this video. Thanks a lot for watching. Cheers.